Trust is one of the most essential prerequisites in any type of connection, whether it's a friendship, a sexual relationship, or a bond with a family member. In this video, I'll go through 9 traits of people you shouldn't trust based on Stoicism. First and foremost, observation is essential to identify whether a person possesses one of the characteristics I shall discuss. However, this is a relatively straightforward problem. Simply examine the person's speech and actions to gain an understanding of who they are and what their fights are. Please double-check your channel subscription before we begin. Keep watching till the finish because there's something special in store for you. And, as always, stick with us to the finish. Daffodils. First, we'll discuss daffodils. When dealing with narcissistic people, the Stoics would warn us not to let the actions of others affect our inner serenity. Because of their self-centeredness, Stoicism permits us to keep our mental tranquility. Consider this: if someone continuously talks about themselves and shows little concern for others, it's difficult to believe that such a person is trustworthy, because they only have eyes for themselves and constantly prioritize their own wants. You can't trust narcissists no matter who they are because they raise their image to be the most important in the world. They don't want anyone to be more or less than them. They are the type of people who will go to any length to improve their image, and this compulsive need for adoration is regarded as exceedingly hazardous because it is difficult to predict what such a person will do to retain their desirable image. They are typically those that blame others for their errors. So, don't trust those who exaggerate their own importance and try to push their views on others without listening to others, because such people can injure you at any time in order to achieve their objectives. People who constantly annoy you. Stoicism provides us with the practice of self-reflection when dealing with manipulative people. Instead of reacting emotionally, we might take a step back and consider how our own views and behaviors impact the issue. It's one thing to be going through a difficult moment in your life and quickly lose tolerance with someone, not because that person is bad, but because of the daily stress you're subjected to. It's much different when you're calm but continuously irritated by someone. If you are frequently irritated by this person, it is because they quietly agitate you by throwing thoughts that confuse you and gradually feed your doubts in small doses, so that you do not fully understand their emotional and psychological tricks. Believe me, there are individuals who act like that for pure pleasure, so be wary of these subtle games, because if someone can consistently irritate you, it's because they prick you with gestures and words and you don't even realize it. Gossip. A gossip is the third category of person. Stoicism also teaches us how to deal with other people's gossip and unpleasant remarks. Stoics emphasize the significance of not giving others perceptions of us power. If someone reveals secrets or discusses information about another person, the same individual is very likely to do the same to you, gossip about you and your life behind your back. Things like this will almost certainly happen, believe me. When someone gossips, it is not just a habit, but also a pleasure act. So don't assume that just because someone is your friend, they won't reveal your secrets to others. Don't make that mistake. The only advantage you can get from gossiping is if you want information to spread, then you simply tell the gossiper and they will do all the work for you. People who are friends with everyone. Stoicism reminds us that we have no influence over how others view us. Stoics emphasize the significance of cultivating authenticity over seeking universal approbation. Who hasn't encountered someone who always grins, wishes everyone the best, hugs everyone, and claims they can always be counted on? In short, it is the famous type of person that aspires to be popular, outgoing, and pleasing to everyone. I'm not saying we should pass judgment on someone just because they have these features. What I'd like to suggest is that we not believe blindly, because someone who smiles at everyone, strives to please everyone, and always promises has just one objective in mind: to be popular. This individual's purpose is to be the center of attention, thus you are simply another number to them, a person who will be forgotten. People like these are attention seekers who are delusory, and it is vital to be careful since extroverts who want to be incredibly popular frequently neglect others, and you could be next. Two-faced people. Stoicism would caution us to be cautious of persons who have two faces. Instead of being concerned about their conduct, we should concentrate on building virtue inside ourselves. You've probably dealt with folks like this before. These are people that appear kind to you yet gossip behind your back about you, and this behavior extends to others. So don't be surprised if others have the same feelings about you. One minute they're pleasant and smiling, and the next they're criticizing you. When you detect this type of activity, I recommend that you end your relationship with that person as quickly as possible. Don't pass up the chance to develop emotional control. Desire to eavesdrop. Setting boundaries in conversations and sharing facts forcefully are crucial Stoic practices. Stoicism advises us to avoid persons who are overly curious, as this might lead to the revealing of dangerous information. Furthermore, this interest can be linked to intrigue. So be cautious when exchanging information. After all, it is difficult to be certain that the individual does not aim to misuse your information in the future. If someone is continually curious about something, it is best to keep your distance or not trust that individual. It is crucial to stress, however, that nice talk should not be confused with what I mean by this. Obviously, when you meet someone or talk to a buddy, the person may ask for a topic or try to get to know you better by asking questions about your life, such as work, studies, and what you do. It's an expected element of the dialogue. What you must understand is that curious people are the ones that will constantly question you about your life, including sensitive areas. For example, someone may inquire about your pay, which is already unusual. If you do not respond and instead change the subject, the person will ask the same question again later. That's what I'm saying. This is the type of person you should be wary of before trusting them. So, not only should you not trust them, but you should also avoid them if possible. People who are always involved in a lot of problems. Stoics teach us to accept responsibility for our actions and emotions rather than blaming fate or circumstance. These folks are plagued by issues and intrigues. They believe they have poor luck and that life is a punishment. Every day offers new challenges, and every day brings new consequences. These individuals state that they have no idea what is going on and that everything is challenging. Finally, be cautious of this type of individual. There's nothing wrong with being suspicious, since if a person continues to complain about their difficulties, it's not the world conspiring against them, rather, the person is undermining themselves on a daily basis. They most likely make poor decisions, fail to learn from their mistakes, and lack emotional control. That is why I warn you to be wary of this type of person, since if you empathize with their sad and tough story to the point where you always want to help them with their difficulties, those problems can rapidly become your problems. Critics. The eighth sort of person is someone who is always critical of things, particularly other people. Instead of criticizing others, Stoics would emphasize the value of constant self-evaluation. Stoicism focuses on self-improvement and character development. People who spend their time criticizing others, whether by chatting, gossiping, or even attempting to ruin someone else's image, are likely to be of negative character. Consider a circumstance in which someone is continually talking about others and wasting time gossiping. The notion is that such a person has nothing better to do with their life and is dissatisfied enough to make inappropriate comments about others. So be cautious. Don't regard or consider this type of person, because if someone easily talks about others, they will easily start talking about you. Pretending to listen. Congratulations on making it this far. Leave a comment if you trust and appreciate someone who possesses any of these characteristics. However, there is no end. I have two more categories of folks to show you. People who pretend to listen to what you say are the ninth type. Stoicism would advise us to be firm and, if necessary, separate ourselves from conversations that do not enhance us in settings when people pretend to listen. Do you know anybody who, when you say something or try to express an idea, simply responds with, "Yes, I understand," and nothing else? It can be both aggravating and disrespectful. The worst part is when the person is talking about themselves and when it's your chance to speak, they pretend to listen or get distracted on the phone and aren't actually interested in what you're saying. In other words, they've heard you but aren't paying attention. To be honest, the bare minimum in a conversation is that the other person listens to what you say. Otherwise, there is no communication. So, if you're talking to someone and you notice that they're not paying attention or, worse, start using the phone while you're talking, obviously indicating that they're not listening, simply stop talking. It's pointless to talk to a brick wall. If that's the case, take a stand and announce your departure. You are not required to spend time with those who are uninterested in what you have to say. We provide essential lessons in the hunt for honest and meaningful connections by summarizing the various types of people who can destroy trust. We learn how to maintain inner calm, develop virtues, practice authenticity, and exercise self-control in difficult situations by embracing Stoic concepts. That's it for now. We've come to the end of this video, and I genuinely hope you found these suggestions beneficial. Remember, you are a vital part of our channel, so if this video helped you think or learn something, please leave a like and a comment so that more people can discover the power of Stoic wisdom. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Remember that every modest step forwards in your own development is important. Continue on your path to success. Thank you for your time, and may happiness find you wherever you go.